Shahji the Bania was on his way to the neighbouring town when he caught sight of Chaudhry Lari Singh, the farmer. Poor Chaudhry Lari Singh was struggling to pay a loan of 10 lakh rupees to the Mahajan. This loan was taken by his grandfather for the funeral of his grandfather, and now poor Chaudhry ji was struggling to repay it.
Arey Chaudhry Lari Singh! Arey wait, no. You are also going to the same town that I am going. Let us go together. I see that you are still sad. Well, I know your situation, but you see, our ancestors have already said, what is written in the forehead cannot be changed. Vidhi ka vidhan jaan, hani labh sahiye, jahi vidhi rakhera, tahi vidhi rahiye. So, let us forget about it. Let's forget about it and let's amuse ourselves by telling stories to each other. Yes, Shahji, you are right. What is doomed to happen will happen. What is written in our forehead is already written. There is no use weeping and wailing about it. I agree to your idea of storytelling, but I have one condition. No matter how absurd or untrue our stories are, neither of us will deny it. We will not say it is lie either. If either of us disbelieves it or calls it a lie, then he will pay the other person 10 lakh rupees. Agreed. I'll begin. My great-grandfather was the richest of all Baniyas. True, Shahji. True. Richest. At that time itself, he took 20 ships and went to China to do business. Satyavachan, true, Shahji, true. He came back with a lot of fortune. He made lot of money. And he brought back many curiosities. And one of the many things that he brought back was a statue made of gold which could speak. And not just speak, it used to tell fortune. It used to tell about the future. And many people used to come from the villages, other villages also. They used to come to ask about their future. Your great-grandfather had also come. Very true. And he asked the statue, who is the biggest idiot in my family? And the statue never lied, because everybody who asked questions always was satisfied. The statue never lied. So when your great-grandfather asked this question, the statue replied, and the statue said, Chaudhry Lari Singh.
अरे भैया क्या कह दिया? This is going to be very expensive for you.
True, Shahji, true.
I will make you pay for this for sure. I got an idea.
True. So, because of the statue, my great-grandfather was gaining a lot of popularity. Everybody heard about him. His fame traveled far and reached the ears of the king. And so the king called him. And then the king said, in exchange for the statue, I'll make you the prime minister. And my great-grandfather agreed. And he became the prime minister. And after him, my grandfather became the prime minister. Because you see, my great-grandfather, he was the favorite of the king. The king trusted my great-grandfather. So after his death, my grandfather became the prime minister. But he was a very lazy man. He used to not do any work. So the king got fed up of him and ordered that he should be trampled to death by a mad elephant. Punishment. He gave punishment to my grandfather. Very true. But on the day of the punishment, when my grandfather was brought before the mad elephant, do you know what happened? That mad elephant suddenly became so calm, and he bowed before my grandfather and gently lifted him up with his trunk and put him on his back. Hi! The king was so puzzled by this change, and he totally changed his opinion about my grandfather. And he recalled my grandfather and bestowed many honors on him, and then kept him very royally. Very true! My father became the prime minister. My father was not interested in all of this, so he resigned from that post. And then he went to travel. He traveled around the world and he saw many wonders. He saw one-legged monkeys, he saw three-eyed giants, and he saw four-armed human beings also. He saw all of that. And he was traveling around and enjoying himself. Then one day when he was walking in the garden of a very big, beautiful house, he saw that a mosquito is coming to bite him. This mosquito was coming very close to him to bite him. But you know, right? We are forbidden to kill any living creatures. So my father did not kill that mosquito. Instead, he fell on his knees and he asked forgiveness from the mosquito. And the mosquito was so impressed. He said, "Oh, you are the humblest man I have ever seen. I want to do something for you." And saying that, he opened his mouth. And do you know what he saw? When my father peeped inside the mouth of the mosquito, he saw that there is a big, beautiful palace made of gold. And there is a big garden by its side. And in that garden, a beautiful princess is standing. And just behind that princess is a dirty, ugly farmer standing. And that farmer is trying to attack that princess. And that peasant was your father.
Oh no, what is this? He's doing it again? Repeat offender?
True, Shaji, true.
He needs some strong medicine. Not to worry, I will give it to him.
True. Now, my father, being a very chivalrous man, could not allow this peasant to beat up this princess. So he jumped inside the mouth of the mosquito and started fighting the peasant. And they fought like that for 1 year in the belly of the mosquito. 1 year they fought each other in the belly of the mosquito. Then after 1 year, your father fell down on his feet and then begged my father. He begged my father for mercy to spare him. And my father, because he is a very merciful person, he said, "I have forgiven you." Very true. And then my father got married to the princess and lived in the palace. And your father lived in that palace like a servant with us. I was born, us. So we lived like that. And when I was 15, one day when I turned 15, there was a sudden rain of hot boiling water. And we were all scared and surprised because we did not understand what is happening. And then we were pushed out of our palace and we were floating and we did not know where we are going. Then suddenly we found that we are in the kitchen of a big house. And the cook saw us and she got so scared. She thought she was seeing ghosts. "Yeah? Who are you people? Ghosts or what? From where have you come? And you have jumped straight into my cooking pot. I was cooking fish and now you have completely spoiled it." And then we told her, no. We are not ghosts. We are also human beings like you. For 15 years, we have been living inside the stomach of a mosquito. And now we don't know how, but we have come out and we find that we are in your kitchen. "Oh, now I remember. 15 minutes back, a mosquito had come and bitten me. here on my face. You see the mark? And I had smacked it. And at the time, some big black pus had come out. I must have fallen. I did not know you people were inside over here now. Get out! For the first time, I realized that my age is not 15 years but only 15 minutes. Well, after that we came to a new country, and which happened to be this village. And then my father started to do some new job. He started keeping shop. He came up with his own kirana store, and after him I started keeping it. And then my mother, the princess, she passed away a couple of days back, as you know. True, Shahji. Very true. Very true. Shahji, your story is very true. My story is also very true, but it is not as wonderful as yours. You see, my great-grandfather, he was a very handsome, noble, hard-working, distinguished, well-known man. And he was the head of the village, and everyone in the village always obeyed him. He was so respected that he was respected even more than the king and the judge. True, Chaudhary. True. And if anybody say that they are not able to harvest or to work in their field, he would send his men. And if anybody said that their oxen was not well or not able to work, he would send his oxen. He was a very nice man. He was a very big heart. True, Chaudhary. Then once there was famine in the village. Not a single drop of rain fell. And wells were drying up, rivers were drying up, granaries were getting empty. My great-grandfather got very worried. He knew that if nothing is done at the earliest, then people, animals, birds, everybody will start dying. So one day he called all the people in the village and he told them, brothers, we all know that rain god is angry with us. That is why we are not having any rains. If you all trust me and give me your lands, then I will ensure that there is rain. And they all gave him his fields. They all gave him their lands. True, Chaudhary. True. And my great-grandfather, he pulled up his langot and strengthened his arms, and then lifted all those fields and lands, put it on his head, and started walking. He walked and walked and walked and walked. True, Chaudhary, true. Until he started reaching places where it was raining. He went to every corner of the world where it rained. And when it rained, he collected the rainwater. And when the farmers in the village started seeing that there is now rainwater, they started plowing and sowing. So he was collecting rainwater, they were plowing and sowing. He was collecting rainwater, they were plowing and sowing. He was collecting rainwater and they were plowing and sowing. And after 6 months, they had such splendid harvest. The crops were touching the sky, corn and wheat. And do you know what was the size of the corn kernel? As big as your head. True, Chaudhary. True. It was a very big and brilliant harvest. They had so much grains remaining, that they had to distribute it to other villages. And then people from all the other villages came and started buying those grains. And my great grandfather made a lot of money. He made a huge profit. At that time, your great grandfather was a very poor man. He also heard about all this splendid harvest that we had in our village. And then one day he came, and then he fell at the feet of my great grandfather and said, "Sire, I am a poor man. I have a family to feed. I have no job. I have no money. Please have some mercy on me." And because my great grandfather was a very, very merciful person, he agreed to give him a job. He had only one job left for him, and it was the job of taking care of the granaries. So he told your great grandfather that he has to measure the grains, and he has to sweep and mop the granary, and he has to keep watch. And your great grandfather was doing it. But he was such an idiot, such an idiot. He was so dumb. He used to make such silly mistakes, I can't even tell you. And because of that, he used to get thrashed by my great grandfather. But he didn't have a job. True, Chaudhary, true. But one day the granary became empty and he was no longer required in the job. So my great grandfather told him to leave. Again he started crying. Your great grandfather? He said, "Sire, I have a family to feed. I have no job, no money. Have some mercy on me." So my great grandfather loaned him some money. He said, "How much money do you want to take a loan? Do something of your own." And he took a loan of 1 lakh rupees.
This has gone in some other direction. This is not what I had intended. Now we have entered the town. What if somebody hears?
True, Chaudhary, true. And then he left. And your great grandfather had taken 1 lakh rupees. He did not repay it.
Hey Bhagwan, this has become worse. Why doesn't this Chaudhary stop his story? Oh God, what will I do?
True, Chaudhary, true. Neither your grandfather repaid it, nor your father has repaid it. And now that 1 lakh rupees has accrued and become 10 lakh rupees.
Bhagwan, now we have entered the Mahajan's office also. There, the Mahajan is sitting there. Hare Chaudhary Lari, finish your story.
True, Chaudhary, true. Now you agree that your great grandfather had taken 1 lakh rupees and till now it has not been repaid and it has become 10 lakh rupees. That also you have not paid me.
What does he mean?
True, Chaudhary, true. So Shahji, now please pay that 10 lakh rupees to the Mahajan so that I can free my lands.